Hi, this is my PowerPoint for integration of the reading components by Alyssa King, and this is for EDU 2240. Here is my summary for the book I'll Always Love You. The story I'll Always Love You is about a little boy named Alex who was trying to make his mom breakfast but broke her favorite honey bowl. He was worried about how she would react, so he kept asking different scenarios and if she would still love him. She said she will always love him no matter what. Here is my vocabulary words for the story I Will Always Love You. I have provided the English terms as well as those terms in Spanish. I did not provide the definition because I would like to determine the students' background knowledge before providing them with the definition. Our terms for this story is reached, honest, lumpy, moments, and whispered. Here's my summary of the book Happy Valentine's Day, Little Critter. This book is about the Little Critter's class getting ready to celebrate Valentine's Day. Little Critter decorates his class, gets his Valentine's Day box ready, makes a special Valentine's Day picture for his special Valentine, which we found out to be his mom. Then they have a party during class where they exchange their cards for their special cupids. Here is a vocab for the book, Happy Valentine's Day, Little Critter. I again have provided them in English and Spanish. But this time I included the definitions for each term because while we are reading, I would like the students to highlight, underline, whatever kind of markings they would choose while we are reading when they see these terms so they can ask questions and make connections while we are reading. Our terms for this story is excited, which means very enthusiastic and eager. Decorations, which is the process of or art of decorating. Special, which is better, greater, or otherwise different from what is usual. Exchange, which means to give something and receive something at the same kind in return. And secret is not known or seen or not meant to be known or seen by others. Here are my ELL accommodations that I will be providing for my ELL students. I will provide a copy of both stories in the ELL's L1 language. I will also provide them with an English copy so the students can compare as well as underline the vocab words while reading. I will provide the vocab words in English and Spanish so the students can compare and contrast the terms while they read. I will allow them to work in pairs with another ELL to complete the activities for today. And I will also provide visuals of the vocab words to help build background knowledge of the word. Social and academic language. Social language is everyday communication in oral and written forms. Students use social language when they are communicating with another peers while doing stuff like recess or just communicating about stuff that's usually non-academic stuff. And then academic language is used in school. This is most likely used with domain-specific vocabulary. These are terms that have to do with like when you're talking about vocab or your like English language and social studies, math terms, stuff like that. And then to facilitate academic language development at the kindergarten level, you can focus on oral language development around themes. It is important for ELLs to develop academic language because ELLs do not just come to school to learn how to communicate socially, but also academically. Just because an ELL can speak to their peers on the playground does not mean they can academically speak. This could also hinder their proficiency when it comes to handling standards-based curriculum. The activity I've chose for I'll Always Love You, they will determine how you think you would have handled the situation if you were Alex, as well as if you were Alex's mom. How would you react to something of yours being broke by accident? And then the activity for Happy Valentine's Day, Little Critter, we will draw a picture of what you would draw for your special Valentine for Valentine's Day. Both of these activities will be done as a think, pair, share with the whole class. Semantic variability. Semantic variability is the third part of language. Vocabulary plays a huge role in this. Children do not start school at the same level due to different experiences that they have been exposed to before starting kindergarten. Semantic variability means there are different meanings of the same word. A child's culture can definitely affect the meaning of a word with their background knowledge that they have already have for the word. The activity we will do for this assignment is each group will pick one word from the vocab list and complete a semantic web on that word if that word allows it. Syntactic variability, the structural organization of English and how words are organized to make a sentence. ELLs tend to struggle most with this due to the fact that their language sentence structure is different than ours here for the English language. Example of this could be, this is my red-shaped heart, and then what ELLs might say is, this is my heart-shaped red. The activity that the students will be doing for this is the students will pair in partners to complete a Valentine's Day scrambled sentences. There are 6 major components when it comes to reading. We have vocabulary, fluency, phonemic awareness, phonological awareness, oral language, and as well as comprehension. I will go through step by step with each of these components here in the following slides. The first reading component I will be talking about is vocabulary. Vocabulary is the body of words used in a particular language. When teaching vocab, it is crucial to use several different strategies to help students remember the word and make real-life connections with that word. Repetition is key when teaching vocabulary. Say the words as many times as you can before, during, and after reading to ensure it is locked in the student's minds. The more that student hears that word, the more likely the student is to remember. An activity for this assignment would be vocabulary bingo. The students will write the vocab words on a blank bingo card, and as the teacher says the definition, the student will place a bingo piece over the word that the teacher said the definition for to try and get bingo. The second component we will be discussing is fluency. The 4 different components of fluency is accuracy, which means to read and pronounce the words correctly; automaticity, which means accurate and effortless word identification; rate, which is the correct speed; and finally, prosody, reading with expression. The activity that we will be doing with this is individually, students will come back to the teacher to practice reading the books using coached and assisted reading. This is when the teacher sits with the student and gives feedback on rate, expression, pronunciation, and phrasing while reading. Another key component to reading is phonemic awareness, otherwise known as phonics. Phonics is when the teacher teaches children the relationship between letters and the individual sounds of spoken language. There are 44 phonemes, but only 26 letters in the alphabet. Another key component to reading is phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is an umbrella term used to explain several levels of metalinguistic skills, such as the word level, the syllable level, the onset rhyme level, and finally the phoneme level of the word. Oral language. This is the ability to speak forms from the earliest foundation to read. Strong vocabulary and grammatical skills are needed to understand complex sentences from various topics. Oral language is built mostly at home through listening to adult conversations. Adults don't know it, but kids are very strong listeners, and when they listen to your conversations or even just you talking to them, they are slowly building oral language. Oral language can also be built through kids' electronics, so on their iPads, tablets, video games, etc., or television shows if the student happens to watch the news with their parents or just their TV shows. They are slowly building oral language. An activity for this is, while we as a class are reading both of the books, we will stop periodically so the students can determine what they think will happen next. Comprehension. There are 3 separate ways of reading comprehension. There's a single strategy instruction, the effects of teaching a single comprehension strategy, such as activating prior knowledge, generating questions, and identifying main idea. Multiple strategy instruction. This is when a student uses several strategies when reading a text. Example, predicting, clarifying, questioning, and summarizing. The third one is transactional strategy instruction, using a variety of comprehension strategies strategically and flexibly. The activity we will do for this is for both books, we will use reciprocal teaching. This involves teachers and students in discussion about the text in order to co-construct the meaning of a text. Then the students will complete the following organizer for both of the stories. Assessments. For my informal assessment, the students will roll a cubed-like dice. Depending on what they land on, that's what the students will have to do after reading. The questions will be questions like, what was the main idea of the story? What was the setting? What is the problem? And what happened in the story to solve the problem? And give a summary of the story. For a formal assessment, the students will complete a Kahoot that the teacher creates about each of the stories. The teacher will be able to see which students answered them correctly, as well as explain to the whole class as to why that answer is correct. Comprehension monitoring to increase reading proficiency. I will make sure that students are asking questions while reading and that they are comprehending what they are reading. And finally, I will help them make corrections when needed. I will assist them, give them feedback, and whatever they need to make sure they are getting the words correct. We can reread and things of that nature. These are the resources I used to find the information in this PowerPoint.